Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lelantia Show. I am here today to talk to you about bees, and the fairies kind of have a message as well. So I have been guided to come on here and just talk about this a little bit. I'm not a scientist. I haven't dived into a ton of research, but I think that there's been enough research that has been done to show us that we need to change something to protect the bees. So for those of you who don't know me already, my name is Lelantia. I'm a psychic realm channeler and healer, and I work with the magical realms to bring through healing, guidance, support to help you to connect to the magic within yourself and to step into your purpose to, change the world in the way that you're meant to change the world, to share your truths with the world. So one of the things that I work with is I work with the fairies and the elemental realms. And the bees are very closely associated with them. And over the past period of time, the past, week or so, bees have been really showing up for me, and not physically so much. At least not until today. The weather has just gotten warm enough here where they're starting to come out a little bit more, at least by what I can tell and where I am. And so what they've been showing up as is in Facebook posts and in things that other people have said. I've just been seeing this repeating pattern of them showing up in this message of the importance of that we are remembering to protect the bees, that we're being mindful of what we are doing to the environment and how it is harming the bees. Now, it's not only harming the bees, it is harming it's harming us. It's harming so many things and people and animals and plants, and things are not great. But I'm going to stay focused as much as I can on bees and the message that the fairies had brought through when I channeled with them this morning. So I told you that I keep seeing bees showing up and keep getting this message of the importance of letting people know that it is important to not use pesticides, not poisonous pesticides. Like, we seem to be obsessed with this idea that our yards have to be perfectly groomed and all of this. And we forget that the bees need those early weeds and flowers. So they need the dandelions and other things. Dandelions are some of the earliest flowers that come, and the bees need them. So when they're sprayed with stuff, then the bees take that back to the nest or to the hive, and they all can come in contact with this. So today I went to the park, I went into nature, and immediately, it was very, very strange how this happened, but that's how the universe works. Immediately, a bee came, and it was a big, huge bumblebee, and I could hear it buzzing around me. It didn't come like right in front of my face. I could hear it and feel it buzzing around me, and it crossed in front of me a few times, but it was going so fast. I just had this awareness of it coming around me. And it was when I had asked the universe for a sign as to what I needed to focus on or what message I needed. And there was more messages involved in this, but that was the first time. And then I went and I sat at a tree. When I was sitting there, then I noticed that there were some workers that were spraying, and I don't know what they were spraying. I didn't go and ask them. Maybe I should have, but I did get really angry, and I was just like, why are people doing this? Why are they spraying? For all I know, they were spraying some all natural thing, but I try not to, jump to conclusions. But we know that people are using pesticides and that it is harming the earth, it is harming the bees, it is harming us. It's been shown to cause cancer. So I got, upset about that. But then I had to walk away because they were getting closer and closer to me. So I went for a walk. And when I was walking, then another bee, or the same one, because it was another bumblebee, started buzzing around me again. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. I'm here to listen. And it kept happening. Like, I would start daydreaming about something else, or my mind would wander off to something else, and another bee would come and start circling around me, and it would just go in circles around me. Like, I could not ignore this. Like, this message is so strong and so important that it was like, okay, so you are saying that I need to go home right now and do this video. There was actually a lot more to it, because bees have other messages as well around standing in your power, and miracles can happen. There's a lot of different messages, and I'm not here to talk necessarily about that aspect of it, though I should come on and talk about that a little bit more. But it did come to my awareness that I would like to do some interviews with people who are bee experts. So I intend to reach out to some of them, or at least one of them. I have one in mind, and hopefully do a video on here soon about that. So the fairies, when they were talking to me, were talking about this importance of keeping your gardens, your lawns, your land natural, in a natural environment. So when I have weeds taking over my yard, I will pull them up. We tend to have a lot of blackberries here that they will grow anywhere, and you don't want blackberries taking over your yard. So yes, I go and I trim the blackberries, but I do not spray them. And by what I understand, you have to spray blackberries an awful lot in order to really make a difference. So anyways, I will cut the blackberries, and if there are too many weeds, if there's a particular weed really taking over, then I will pull it. I will pull the weed. When the dandelions get really crazy, there's so many of them, then I will go and I will pull some of them. But I don't really care that much about there being dandelions in my yard. They're pretty yellow flowers. Why should we freak out about them being there? But I do live in a neighborhood that has a neighborhood association, so they haven't gotten after me yet, but I do know that I have to be a little bit careful as to how out of control I let the weeds get in my front yard. Nobody can see my backyard though. So we can work with fairies in regards to doing things for the environment, and they can do things to help us, but what they care about is the earth and the animals and the insects on the earth, and making sure that we have this balance on earth. It's important that we keep this balance here to keep earth sustained and healthy, I guess, so that we can live here as humans. So they say that it is imperative that we learn to respect nature once again, and to not use products that are harmful. So you want to make sure that anything you use is something that is completely natural. Now, there are natural products as far as if you were to use essential oils or vinegar or, I don't know, other things like that. There are certain ones that are harmful for certain things. So you want to kind of do your research, find things that you know are completely harmless to anything in nature. Obviously, if you're using it to spray for bugs or to kill weeds, then they're not completely harmless, because they're going to kill that one thing, but you want to make sure that they won't harm bees or other things that you don't want to harm. So there is some research required when you look into that. Make sure that they are completely safe for people, for bees, etc. So they said the bees are dying at an accelerated rate, and we are being asked to create change. So this is the message that I've been asked to bring through to let you guys know. Now, I know that there's a lot more awareness about this problem, about this happening, but there needs to be more change. So that means that all of us that know that this is a problem, that know that there needs to be change, that means that we need to speak up, and we need to be a bit louder. We need to show up to where our voice matters. So maybe it's going to community events to let Parks and Rec know. I don't even know who takes care of their stuff, but if it's them, to show up and be there to let them know, this is really important that we're not using pesticides or fungicides even. Because they said, when I did a little bit of research before I hopped on here, and that was one thing that came up, as it's harmful to them as well, but they have discovered in studies. So it is important that we speak up, we use our voice. So the fairies, the elementals in general, are upset. They're frustrated and angry because humans are not taking care of the bees. The humans are not taking care of the planet. We are not doing things in a way in accordance with keeping things for the highest good for all, right? So it is really important that we show up in the best way that we can as individuals. So each of us can do different things depending on your situation, where you are, what position you're in. Like maybe you're in a position to talk to different people who have the power to create change. So it all kind of depends on your own situation or where you are. So the fairies have to work with us. They want to work with us. And I keep saying fairies, it's fairies, elementals, all of them, all of the nature spirits. I could say nature spirits. Maybe that will make a little bit more sense here. The nature spirits want to work with us. They want to work with us because we are the voice for change. So they can't go around and talk to all of the people, the decision makers, because decision makers generally probably don't hear them. So those of us that do, like me, then we're the ones that are here to spread the message and let people know the importance of doing this. So they want to communicate with us and help us to create this change. And they work in this way in which they kind of do things on trade. So you help them in some way that will help the planet or help them. Maybe it's giving them a gift or something. But if you're doing things for the environment, then they will likely, and remember they're individuals, they do have egos and they're not like angels, they're different, but they will help depending on who you're speaking to, but they will help with something that you need help with. So they can help in so many different ways. They can help you manifest things because they're amazing manifestors. They can help you to get into the creativity. They can help you connect with your inner child so that you can tune into that aspect of yourself. They can help you with a lot of different things, but they ask that you do things for them as well. So that means showing up to do things for the environment. Now, you can bring gifts to the fairies and they love getting gifts. And I've done videos in the past on gifts that you can bring to them and everything. So I'm not going to talk about that too much here, but the best thing that you can do is to do something for the environment, to create and bring change. So some of the things that you can do, and I mentioned this before, is it really depends on where you are. So you can pick up garbage. You can speak to people in your community about things. You can create a community event and have an expert come to speak. Spread the word more about important matters regarding the environment. You can, what are some other things? I wrote this down. They showed this to me, is teach kids. So maybe you're somebody who works in a school and you have the ability to put together some sort of class or something that teaches kids. Sorry, apparently something is going on. My dog's barking. To teach kids about what is going on and the changes that need to be made. So whatever it is that you have the power and ability to do, it is important to step up and that we make this change happen. And everything counts. Everything matters. So maybe, recycling, yes, it's important, but cutting out plastics as much as we can, and that's a whole other video, but cutting out plastics as much as we can, having an awareness of, our waste. So buying products that aren't in very much packaging. So I went to the grocery store today to buy produce. I don't use the little bags unless I absolutely have to. And I do bring my own reusable bags that I carry in my purse, or if I'm doing a huge grocery shopping trip, I have a bag of reusable bags, but I keep some in my purse and I can use those reusable bags for the produce as well if they need to be in a bag. I buy things in a way that they have the least amount of packaging possible. So I buy all organic, but I noticed that at the grocery store that I go to, they started wrapping their onions individually in this wrap. It's like I can't think of what it's called, but it's the plastic wrap that's that has like the holes in it, the netting. So it had like this, they're all individually wrapped in this netting. So then I'm in this conundrum. Do I buy the organic onions that are individually wrapped, or do I buy the non-organic that are not wrapped? And I ended up buying the non-organic that are not wrapped. But then I went to bring it to the attention to the people who work there that this is ridiculous, that they're individually wrapped in this netting, this plastic netting that is so harmful for the environment. And it just doesn't really make any sense to me. So I did want to bring that to their attention and make sure that they know that it is important. I'm buying non-organic onions because of that. And then I knew next time not to buy onions at that grocery store, that I would actually go to a different grocery store to buy stuff, and preferably to buy all of my produce elsewhere because of this. Obviously I need things to be as convenient as possible. It is important to buy organic. I'm going to mention that while I'm here. It is very important to buy organic produce, because not only is it better for us, but it is sending a message to the farmers and to, you know, all of the people who do that, that we want organic produce. We don't want the stuff that's not organic. We don't want stuff that's been sprayed. We don't want stuff that hasn't been grown naturally. We want the natural stuff. So even though it costs a little bit more money, we have to create that change. And the more that we buy it, the cheaper it's going to get. So it is important to do that and to just, you know, stretch our money a little bit more in but maybe buying more organic produce and buying less of something else, and being aware of the packaging that you are getting. So my bee video turned into a little bit more around environmental stuff, but this is all stuff that is important to have an awareness about and to kind of bring change. Make an effort to connect with the fairies around you, the nature spirits around you in your yard, and out in the country. It's easier to connect with them if you go out like deeper into nature. So I find that when I go walking into a nature reserve, so where they don't spray and they don't mow, then I am able to connect with elementals that I don't see, you know, in those groomed areas. So and I find like that it's a stronger connection with them as well. So I was sitting on a log. It was off of the path, and it was in a natural area where they didn't mow or spray anything. And I was sitting there, and I kept seeing something. It was running on the ground, but I would see it like out of the corner of my eye, and I thought maybe it was like a snake or something. But it's a bit early, I think, to see any snakes. Although probably anytime now we'll start seeing them, but it wasn't a snake. It was too upright. And I realized when I tuned in to the energy more and not just like my physical eyes, then I realized that it was a gnome that was there. And he has some messages he would like me to share, which is another video as well. But it was in getting off of the trail and going into nature that he came forward for me. And I have a few different ones in that area. So it's a park that has like a park, and then it has nature reserve areas. So when I go into the nature reserve areas, I have a much stronger connection. I sense them. They come to me, they talk to me so much more. But they have been very clear about this importance of letting people know the harmful things that we're using, that are the things that are harming the environment. So that is the video for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Make sure to hit subscribe if you aren't already, or check out what my other videos are about. Obviously, I talk about things that are a little bit more woo than maybe you're used to. Maybe this is the first video that you've watched that seems a little bit, I don't know, weird, wonky, spiritual, magical, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But I talk about all kinds of things having to do with magical beings, other realms, nature, taking care of the environment. Obviously, that's important. Energy work, healing, psychic abilities, pretty much crystals, pretty much anything spiritual, magical. I do not label myself really. There's all kinds of stuff that you guys will find here. So hopefully you will join me on more videos, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.